Alright everyone, in this video we're talking about electrolysis to remove rust from this fuel tank here. So I'm going to take you through step by step exactly what I do in this process. So stick around. Now the idea with electrolysis is that we're going to use electricity pass through an electrolyte to actually remove the rust from the inside of the tank. Now the way this works is we have a battery. We're going to hook up the negative side to a metal source on the tank, and then we're going to hook up the positive side to a sacrificial anode that we're going to insert within the tank, and then the electrical current is going to pass through a water and sodium carbonate solution called an electrolyte, and that is going to remove the rust from the tank, and it's going to turn into basically like a goo that's going to come out of the top here. It's really easy, it's actually very cost effective, and it works really well. This is kind of my go-to thing for fuel tanks that don't have, like, let's say a lot of like scaling or anything like that. Pretty light rust. This works fantastic. So let's get into it. Alright, now let me see if I can show you guys the condition of the tank that we're working with here. So within, it's you can see there is bare metal, and there's nothing really flaky or scaly on the tank. The metal itself is really not that bad, but it's still something we need to clean up. There we go. So the electrolysis is going to be perfect for this. Now to get started, we need to set up our anode, and this is the sacrificial piece of metal. What I like to use is just a piece of round bar. I usually put a bend on it because you want as much extending into the tank as possible within reason. And then here you can see I use a paint cap. It's kind of my hack that I do it with. And this sits down in the tank. You do not want the metal to contact the tank at any point. So what I need to do is modify the cap a little bit. We'll do a little cut right here. That will allow it to fit down over this section and fit with a lot more stability in the tank. And voila. See a little cut there? So that fits around there nicely. I do end up taping this to the tank, but wiggle the metal around. There's no contact. We'll align that how we need going forward, but that section is done. One thing of note, obviously you guys will have to plug up the bottom of the tank. So I just made a cap there from an old petcock that I had, and it is sealed. So now we can fill this thing with a liquid and begin the process. Now with doing this process, one key component to this is time. So wherever you have the tank, you need to make sure it's in a good spot, that it doesn't need to be messed with for at least 24 hours. That's kind of my go-to. Usually I do this over the course of 2 nights, but I'm going to go ahead and clear a spot over here that we can leave the tank overnight. Alright, I'm here at the sink, and for this, maybe somebody could correct me, but I feel hot water works better for this instead of just cold water. It may be something I've read somewhere, but with my experience, I've done this a ton of times, I feel hot water is best to start with. So what I'm using here is, of course, Clorox Pool pH Up. This is sodium carbonate. I get this at Lowe's. It's probably, I don't know, $8 for this pack, and this will last you a long, long time. Now with this, more is not more better. So what I do, I use about a cup for an entire 5-gallon bucket. It doesn't really increase the strength of it. Basically that is determined by the battery power. About good there. Hot water going. Now, while this is filling, one of the things that I really like about this process is that it's safe. This is really safe stuff. It's not like carrying around an acid. It's also really inexpensive. Basically, you're out the cost of the water and then the sodium carbonate and then your time. So this is another reason I really like this process. Once this is full, we're going to run up and try to get it in the tank as fast as possible. Alright, time to pour this in. You're gonna spill a bunch, so set up a funnel, do the best you can. Thirsty. All right, now I have this filled up all the way to the brim, and some is gonna spill over. Now, this is not necessarily like really hard on the paint, but if you want to put like a layer of like carnauba wax all over the tank, that's something I've done in the past with bikes with decent paint jobs, just for added protection. But now it's time to kind of set up our cathode and anode, and we're gonna get started on this. So what I have is just a battery charger. This one's 2 amp. That's kind of the most powerful one I have, but if you have like a car battery and something maybe a little bit more powerful, that's fine too. That should actually get the job done faster, but for me, that's what I got. So here's our anode. I'm going to go ahead and get this inserted. We've already mocked it up so we know where it's going to fit. And then what I do is I take some tape and I get this thing held in place. Not only with the cap placement, but also the anode itself. So one thing I do, because you're going to have tension from your battery cable, kind of give it a little pull that way. A little pull that way. I just get it under tension. That way it can't move as easily. Now what we do, this is the important part. Your negative cable goes to a clean piece of metal on the back of the tank. The positive goes to the anode. And you want to make sure that when you put this on here, it doesn't move around a lot and contact anything in the tank. So as of now, this is actually working, but we obviously need to replenish the battery as we're going. So that's where the battery charger comes into play. So we're just going to hook this up. And this thing is working. So here's the setup. Review. We have a piece of bare metal on the actual fuel tank. The negative side goes to this. The positive side goes to the sacrificial anode. This is not touching any metal, okay? And the electrolyte within this, with the sodium carbonate, that is what's passing electricity through it. So basically we're taking the rust that's off of the surface, and we're actually filtering it, and we're drawing it through to the anode. So whenever we take this out, in a little bit, you will actually see there's a lot growing on it. Alright, so I've been going for about 6 hours here. Let's check our progress. So of course I got to kind of redo all the tape and stuff, but that's no big deal. You can feel there's like a slight bit of temperature in the actual tank. Oh yeah. So let's kind of see if it's still potent right now. There is a reaction. It's working kind of slow. You can see the bubbles there. Now, as of now, it is still working. So I went ahead and just cleaned off the anode there. It is reinserted, retaped, and then we're just going to let this run until tonight. It's about 7 p.m. now, so I'll come back in at 9 o'clock, refill this thing, and let it run overnight, and then we should be good to go. Alright, so it's been about 24 hours. I actually did not change out the liquid in here like I said. I just ended up kind of going inside and letting this do its thing. So let's see where we're at. very disgusting. Fresh solution with a clean anode. See how quickly it starts working. Alright, you can see I've got this thing hooked back up. I went ahead and did a fresh run of new solution. It's bubbling and fizzing as you saw. It definitely is an easy process to do. And I'm going to let it run the course of the day. I'll probably drain it out tonight and we should be good to go. Alright, well we have let this thing run all day. And I am feeling confident in it being good enough. So let's kind of take a peek at what we got. See, not quite as much, which is what we expected. But I'm going to drain this thing out and then go ahead and start flushing it out. And we will put some, probably some fogging oil in it just to keep it from flash rusting, even though it's not typically as noticeable of a flash rust in these versus, like, let's say using acid or something like that. What I'm doing here is I just got a little towel actually on my pinchy grabby, and you can actually wipe off quite a bit of the crud that's still kind of hanging on there. You could go a step further and like put a chain in here and just kind of move it around and let it kind of knock all the last stuff loose. But it's looking really good. So you can see the areas where I've like kind of wiped it off there. Otherwise though, this thing's looking really good. We just repeat that until it runs clean. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the drain off the bottom as well, and we'll just circulate water through the tank until it's clean. Then we will put some fogging oil in and keep them from rusting. So I'm using a heat gun to dry this thing out, because if you use compressed air you can put a lot of moisture into the tank and it'll just never be dry. But get some hot air in here, let it dry out nice, and then we're going to go for the fogging oil. I think I found this at like Napa or something like that. Alright, so I've run a lot of heat through this thing. You see it's starting to flash rust just a hair. Nothing as bad as what it was. Overall the tank is in much better condition, so I'm going to go ahead and get the fogging oil in it ASAP. Oh no! Now if you're going to go ahead and put gas in this thing, this step is probably not necessary, but being that I still have some work to do to the bike, it will be sitting idle for a little bit. So to eliminate any potential surface rust issues, we're going fogging oil. All right, and we are done with the tank. This thing is ready to go whenever we need it. And hopefully this video was informative. I wanted to show you guys the process of electrolysis because it really is a cost-effective, safe, and easy way of removing rust from anything that you need to remove rust from. So anyway, check out the website, check out some of the videos on the channel if you could, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. But I hope you guys like this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.